One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. What's up, ComplexCon people? How y'all feeling? My name is A-Trak, and this is the Fools Gold and Serato workshop. And what we do here at the workshop is we show you how to use some new Serato software. And then we also scratch. And then we also have lovely Fools Gold merchandise. And we also give out hugs. So I'm going to show everybody how to use Serato Studio, which is a new beat-making software that Serato came out with recently this year. So whether you do or you don't make beats, I would say that Serato Studio is probably the most intuitive and like user-friendly program that you could make beats with. Yeah, the way everything is laid out visually is like super user-friendly, and it does a lot of things, a lot of functions that like take away some of the annoying steps of making a beat. For example, once you bring in a sample, it defines the key of the track, and every sample that you bring in after that, and every synth you bring in plays to that key, and it puts samples on beat. So let's say you want to bring in a vocal and a cappella, it'll put it on beat for you. So it puts everything on key, puts everything on beat. If you DJ and you have a Serato music library, all your crates from Serato music library show up in here too. So when you get Serato Studio, you get sample packs. You can get more sample packs. In fact, Fools Gold made a sample pack that came out just a month ago, so you can get beats that myself and my homie Nick Catchdubs made. So you get our samples, you get Serato samples, you can get genre-specific samples. You can get a trap sample pack, a house sample pack, a ambient electronic sample pack, whatever you want. And furthermore, another thing that I'm going to show you in a sec is that even when it's time to program a beat, as far as drum programming or things like that, it can even suggest drum patterns in a bunch of different styles. So it does a lot of things that gets you a starting point to a track, and then you can go as deep as you want. And if you have other kinds of production software, and if you already use plugins and VSTs, if there's a certain limiter or a certain reverb, a certain synth that you like to use elsewhere, this reads all your VSTs. So on one hand, it's super beginner-friendly, user-friendly, and even if you've never made a beat, you can definitely get an idea going on here. But on the other hand, if you're already pretty advanced and you have certain plugins that you like, it will also let you use those. So when you first open Serato Studio, it loads up basically an 808 drum kit. So by the way, right here, what I was just tapping on, this is normally a DJ controller, right? One thing that's cool, because Serato makes this, and Serato is such a DJ-friendly company, pretty much any controller that you have, even any mixer that has pads like the Pioneer S9, anything that has pads and volume faders that is compatible with Serato DJ, you can also use it with the production software. So right now I'm using this DJ controller, but I can play the drum sounds, and you see these volume controls here, those go up and down. So the basic idea of how everything is laid out on here. This area, so up here you choose the BPM. This area here shows you like one instrument at the time. Here's where you have all your instruments, all your tracks. So there's three types of tracks you can use. There's a drum track, there's a sample track where you drag in an audio sample, or an instrument track where you use basically like a soft synth, a software synthesizer. And then on the bottom, this bottom area could be two things. Right now it's showing you a browser, so it's showing you your Serato DJ library, so you can bring in actual samples from songs, or you can go to projects, you can go to drums, audio samples, effects, instruments, or plugins. So you browse here, and then in a minute I'll show you guys how you can then click this and go into song view, and this is where you construct the sequence of your song. So let's say you're starting an idea. Let's say I put this to like 130 BPM. Shout out to 130 BPM. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to get started. I don't know if anybody's ever used a step sequencer. Even if you haven't, this shows you how user-friendly it is. So if I go to, let's make a trap beat just to start. And if I hit this button once, it's going to suggest a drum pattern. I'm going to make this a little faster. So if I hit that button again, this is basically a pattern button. If I hit it again, it's going to suggest another pattern. I like this. We're going to make this twice as long. Maybe I'll add a sample to this. So this is empty. I'm going to go. That's the notes I just played. I just played these notes right here, right? I'm just getting an idea started, so I had the stock 808 sounds that come with it. But now I want to make this beat just a little bit more, different. I want it to have its own character. So I'm going to go in my drums. I'm going to go into all Serato packs, and let's go in the Flosstradamus sound sample folder, and let's just drag. Let me search for a kick. I'm going to try a different kick in here. So if I go kick, that's a cool kick. How does that sound? Try another kick. I kind of like that. It's got a weird click to it. I like it. I don't know what this future wave is, but I'm going to get a wavy little snare in here. Who's feeling wavy today, ComplexCon? All right. Let's find a future wave snare. ComplexCon, a place for waves. Let's try that snare. Hey. In fact, so we're going to take this a step further. I'm going to show you how, right now I was just swapping out a kick at a time or a snare at a time. I could drag an entire sample kick, and because Serato Studio always has the kick in this spot, the snare in that spot, the hi-hat here, I can go and drag in a whole other drum kit. And because this kick, snare, hat, clap, etc. is going to be on the same pads, that pattern is going to work with other kits. So let's see. Let's go into, again, Flosstradamus for the hell of it. If I just select them, you can hear them, but some of them are called kit, and that means I can drag here, cat drum kit. Let's let's cat this out. That's hard. Try another drum kit. That's pretty cool. So, all right, what we're going to do now, we're going to build this beat a little further. So I'm going to add a sample track, and I'm just going to find a sample, drag it in here, and I'm going to show you guys how Serato Studio keeps all the samples on beat. So I'm going into audio samples, and then I go to all Serato packs. Okay, let's go. Let's go into the Fools Gold sample kick. What do we got in here? Yeah, let's turn it up a notch. Oh yeah. Why the hell not, right? So this already chops it. You see these little lines. That means it suggests sample chops. All right, let's record that. I've literally never messed around with this kit, but this is how easy it is to start a beat on here. Thank you, bro. What's up, buddy? What up, nigga? He called me a word that I can't say. All right, let's bring in a vocal sample. Hey! Yeah. So again, I created a new sample track.
Hey! Hey!
And it automatically puts a little cue point. So again, if I have a controller connected.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
And maybe I want some effects on this. So if I hit this effects button, and then I'm going to go and see what kind of effects we have on here.
Hey, 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 hey.
So this volume here is the volume of that track. So I got right now I have 3 tracks in my beat. I got the A, I got the guitar riff, I got the drums. So again, if you have a controller connected, it already understands that this fader is going to control that. So maybe my little A is too loud. So let's add some drums, some sub to this. Actually, just thought of something. Another thing that you can do on here, if I solo my drum track, so that's shift and then you see a S appear. I'm going to show you guys also how you can add some swing to a drum pattern. So the way it was playing right now is this, which is cool, but it wasn't swinging. If you want to swing, let's swing it out. It's kind of subtle on this, but it's on that triple kick you hear it a little bit. Anyways, we'll swing some stuff later. Let me add a sub to this because I feel like it. So add an instrument. If I go to my Fools Gold instruments, which I recommend, you know what I mean? Disto sub, let's do that. So, all right, here's what happened earlier. When I brought that guitar in, it understood the key of the guitar, and so it put the key of my whole track on D minor. It's a sneaky little fella. I didn't even ask it, but it recognized the guitar. It understood that the guitar is going to be the leading sample of my track. So now, Serato Studio knows that my beat is in D minor. So then when I load in a bass and this play and key thing is selected, it's only going to give me notes that are in that key. So let's see. All right, so we're going to record a sub. Or maybe we want that sub pattern to actually be twice as long. So let me hit this button. Now I have a longer pattern. So I'm actually going to play that over. Let me see. So I'm just undoing. My sub pattern is going to be longer. All right. It's really that simple, folks. And then basically, in a second, I'm gonna go open demo beats that we made for the sample pack that have even more parts to it. But I can already tell you, as far as like understanding the different parts of what's on your screen here, in this section, which is where you have the list of all your tracks, and you notice that Serato Sample builds out the waveform of each track as it's playing. These are my drums. That's what they look like. This is my guitar. The AA is here, and the little sub is there. So this is one pattern at the time. These tabs down here are where I'm going to build out different patterns. So I might have an intro pattern for a beat. Then I might have the pattern for the verse. I might have a little, change up. I might have the hook, breakdown, whatever. They're all going to be consecutive tabs here. And then I'm kind of jumping ahead. But once I have enough of these patterns, I can build out the song down here. I'm going to drag them down here and build the sequence of my song. And that's how it works. If I go back to this guitar, real quick, I can show you how automation works on here. So. All right, so let's see. Right now, I'm on my guitar track. Let me pull up, let's pull up a filter. Let's try this Lo-Fi Crush. Nice and crunchy. So if I hit this little robot head, that's my automation. And if I want that crunch to sort of evolve while it plays, I could just draw something like this. Whoop, hold up. Here too. Right. So you know what? We're going to take this guy out, and I'm going to put a filter on here. So I can make this evolve as it plays. So it's filtering in and out with the automation. All right, this is cool, but let's open up a beat that's already all laid out with a bunch of instruments, and I'll explain how that's all made. How's everybody feeling out there? Yeah. Long Beach, baby. Doing it. Yeah. All right. So let's open this guy. Are we good? Are we good? So, as I mentioned, there's a Fools Gold sample pack. Fools Gold sample pack comes with not just samples, but also demos of beats and patterns. So this is one of the beats that it comes with. So one thing, when I first got Serato Studio, I wasn't sure how to use it at first. So one of the things I did, I got the Just Blaze sample pack, and then I opened his demo sessions, and I was like, oh, cool, that's how he did the drums. That's how he brought in a sample. That's how a sample was chopped up, and then you just kind of learn from that. So here's a beat that I made with our sample pack. Let's check it out. I'm going to already explain a few things before we go too far. So as you noticed, there was the drums by themselves in the beginning, and then the piano came in, then the bass line came in. The way that that works on this program is each one of those sections is a pattern here, right? So I called it intro, that was just the drums, then piano only, piano and bass, and then down here is where you arrange the song in the sequence that you want. So this song is at 92 BPM, it's in B major, right? Nice to meet you song, and we're going to see how that one went. So if we go to the first pattern that was just the drums, it was like this. So those are all samples that came with the Fools Gold sample pack, so it's samples that we made. So these drums, right, they're all laid out. Here's where you see the pattern. You got your kick, you got your snare, the hi-hat, and for anybody that's made beats, if you understand the concept of quantizing, which is where the performance that you tap can be brought into an exact grid or not, that Q button here is your option whether you want to quantize or not. So I had quantized the kick and the snare. You see they're exactly on, the little step button. But the hi-hat, you can see it's a little bit looser, so that one was tapped out by hand. So it's a really simple pattern. Right, so you got your kick, snare, hat, little open hat here. So now first thing you have is your drum loop. To make the drums a little bit more interesting and to give them a little bit more of a unique little groove, there's I believe it's this guy here, right? You can hear that little percussion thing. That adds a little swing to the drums. So that's an audio sample that you see here. And by the way, if you're using a controller to load up your samples, you can even turn the platter and select what you want. You can move these guys around as you want or not. And so that and the drums together, that was the intro pattern. So then when you go to the piano, which comes with the Fools Gold sample pack, is this guy here. So again, Serato Studio puts all the samples on beat for you. So if I started with my drum pattern at 92 exciting BPMs, the piano is going to stick to 92 right away. And if ever it gets the tempo wrong, you can hit the times 2 or divided by 2, and it's going to play it at different speeds. So that could work too. Why not? Let's say like now it's going to play at that speed, at least for this pattern, right? This is still kind of the intro part of the song. Right? So then, when you get to the next pattern with the bass line, this bass here, which is called Flex Moog bass, that Moog instrument comes with Serato Studio. I remember when I made this beat, the drum samples and the piano come from the Fools Gold sample pack. The bass sound was one of the stock sounds that come when you buy this thing. So if you're looking for sounds, you can go into instruments here, and I probably found it in bass. And let's see, what was it called? Flex Moog bass. There it is. So now Serato Studio, the program already knows that our track is in B major. So this play and key thing means that the notes that I have here, if I go down an octave, whoop, those are all notes that are in the key that I'm playing. And the pattern is written out here. Anybody feeling that? How you feeling out there, everybody? ComplexCon, going strong.
Feel me? Do you feel me?
There you go.
Do you feel me? Do you feel me?
Yay. Yes. Let's see how that that little beep 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 thing was made. The little beep beep beep, you know, not to be confused with a beep beep bop, and this or a skibidi boop. So that thing is RP Mellow Bit Synth. I believe this is one of the stock sounds that come when you buy the software too. So you go into your instruments and you find an instrument that seems like it's going to be what you want, and then it just puts it in key for you. So I'm going to be on a higher key. If you're using the keyboard here, X and Y go up and down octaves. So. And it's got a little delay. So this is, it's called the Beam Me Up Echo. It's got a little phase. Right? That's it. That's it. That's all you need. That's it. And then there's this little "Do You Feel Me" thing.
Do you feel me?
Which is also part of the Fools Gold sample pack.
Do you?
And then that one has "Do You Feel Me?" It's a question. The "Feel Me" has an echo, right?
Feel me?
It's right here if I want to turn that up.
Feel me? Feel me? Feel
Less.
me? Feel me?
Right? It's that simple. So the little effects toggle here, either you hide the effects when they appear. Basically, this area here lets you put effects on one pad at a time. So in this case, there's nothing on the "Do You,"
Do you
but there's an echo on the "Feel Me."
feel me?
Feel me? And then over here, since these are all your tracks, you're putting effects on one track at a time. By the way, if you go into the song view and you hit master, you can put effects on the entire track. You might want to put a compressor, as I did, or a limiter, or an EQ or something. So those are the three areas where you could put effects. So, where am I? Back to scenes. There you go. So again, this is a sample that was from the Fools Gold sample pack. It doesn't know that it's going to be commingling with the piano at first, but when you're in this session, it knows that the song's in B major, so it puts the guitar in B major for you. And you can still pitch it, right? In this case, I'm playing it in the root key. Let's make this make some noise for this beat, for this little piano beat. Thank you. The beat says hi. Hello. Let's open another. Let's go into a different genre here. So we got this. I got a house beat that we made in the demo projects for the Fools Gold sample pack Serato Studio. By the way, everybody, if you want to try out this program, there's these little cards here. You can come grab one at the end. This is a 3-month license, so you can try this. And by the way, these stations at the tables, once I'm done with this little demo, anybody can go and try stuff out. We got Serato Studio on all these computers. There's little speakers and headphones. We got Serato instructors here too. So once I'm done with the lesson, anybody can come here and try shit the whole day. So let's check this out in a whole different genre. Now we got a house track made on Serato Studio with the Fools Gold sample pack. And then I'll show you there's a little piano breakdown. So again, all these sections here are different patterns, different scenes of the song. So again, you got your BPM here, you got the key of the song up here. This is one track at a time. This is all your tracks, but one pattern at a time. You choose your patterns down here, and then you build the song at the bottom. So if I want to add another one of these perk sections at the end, I just drag the little perk scene to here, and I just extend it. That's it. It's that simple. So there's even more, but we'll get into that in a sec. So if we go back to the sort of basic beat here, how was that made? Let's play it. You know? Right? That's what I think too. So you got your drums. Hey, what's up? We got a real beat maker here. What's up, Diablo? So this drum track here, these sounds are from the Fools Gold sample pack. These are drums that I've used on actual tracks. If you get my remix of Phantoms that's out now, it's these drums. So let's see, right? So that's pretty much how it's tapped out. So you see your kick, it's a 4/4 beat, so there's a kick on every beat. And your basic hat and clap. So this is like the really bare bones part of the drum pattern. Then there's another track here that has more of a sort of groove percussion loop. So let's listen to that. It just gives it kind of a live feeling, because sometimes when you just program a kick and a clap and a hat, it doesn't quite have the same groove. And there's another little groove loop here. And it's a groove loop that has some low end to it, so it gives it a bit of a little bassy groove. This is another clap, and it has a little housey hat to it. I'm a big fan of these housey hats. Yeah. Right? It's got a little swing to it. So this little intro section, right? So then this pattern introduces the bass line. Let's look at this bass line. Right, so with the drums. So one thing for anybody that's produced, especially electronic music, but also certain types of rap beats, there's an effect called a sidechain that tends to be complicated to set up, and Serato Studio makes it really easy. The idea of a sidechain is in any type of track where the kick drum is really dominant, whether it be house music where your kick is, just your four on the floor groove, but also certain types of like K-Tronada-esque instrumental hip hop where again that kick is still really important. What the sidechain is, you put that on other instruments, and anytime the kick hits, that instrument ducks out. So it's something that goes on another instrument track, but juts out anytime a kick comes in. So it needs to like listen to the kick. So I'm on my bass track, and you'll notice there's a hard sidechain. Like I'm making sure that it's listening to the right kick, and this knob here shows how much of a sidechain I have. So I'll show you the difference. Right now, the way I have it, you barely notice it, but it just kind of makes it groove. I'll show you if I turn it up more, that bass is going to cut out anytime a beat hits, anytime a kick hits. So normally I had it like this, but I can make it more of an extreme sidechain. The bass line pretty much disappears anytime the kick hits. So it depends how much of a groove you want or how you want it to sit. So this is another thing that Serato Studio makes really easy as opposed to other programs where you have to be kind of a scientist to know how to do it. So we got our bass line. Let's go into this section that had even more percussions and cowbells. Over here around these parts at Fools Gold and Serato, we're big fans of cowbells. Right? We got this little loop. And we had a what sample. Here it comes.
What?
The what comes part of the Fools Gold sample pack. We take care of you. We give you
What?
We give you the what, because we look out. And, fuck yeah, that's right. By the way, again, because Serato puts everything on a beat grid, right now I'm at 124 BPMs. What if I just decide that this has to be 140? It's all still going to be on beat.
What?
Now I'm going to keep it at 124 just to show you how it was originally intended. So now what else? We got this piano thing. Hey, gravy. So this piano sample, which is also part of the excellent Fools Gold sample pack. So again, Serato Studio does this thing where it identifies the key of the first sample you put in, and it puts everything else on that key. So right now we're working in A minor for this track. This bass line, if I suddenly tell it to not put it on the same key, this is how it would sound. Right? That's less good. But right now it's on key. Oh yeah, and also I did a little chop. So when you load a sample in, it suggests these areas for sample chops. And if you decide that pad should, trigger another part or whatever, I can just move this little selector. Right? It could be in between sounds. That's kind of a vibe. Or I could just decide to keep it on it. The original loop went like this. Right? It had 4 chords. Bam, 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 bam. When I programmed it, I wanted to actually change it to 3 chords. So I used the chops so that instead of Instead of 4, I could just do. Now it's 3, so that's when the chop is useful. And then the kick comes back in right here. But we're not done. So now we got another little bass, a sort of wobbly bass. This thing here, you know? So this one. So the sample packs, there's also vocal samples. The Fools Gold sample pack comes with a couple of vocals. So in this demo track, I used this friendly little robot.
They hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, you hear the bass and you say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, you hear the bass and you say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and.
So again, it puts it on beat. Oh my damn.
Oh my damn.
Right? So where's that little vocal?
They hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the.
So I put it on 124 BPM, which is the tempo of the song. So anything that you drag in, it gets it on beat, it gets it on key. And if I wanted to make it, half that tempo.
Well, they hear the bass and they say, well, they hear the. Well, you hear the. Well, they hear the.
So that's that track. Let's make some noise for this little house track that we just heard, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. ComplexCon, where dreams come true. That's it for my little lecture, my little lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed it. My name is A-Trak. This is Fools Gold and Serato. We got stations, workstations. This is the workshop, so just come and try stuff out. We got some Serato instructors that will answer your questions. And we've also got the new Fools Gold merch collection up. Thanks for hanging with us. Probably going to scratch later on. We're here all day, today and tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.